Now, when it comes to cooking a healthy meal, we often focus on focus all of our attention on the main ingredients, but we neglect the cooking process itself.
True.
Using healthier cooking oil, for example, can really improve the nutritional benefits of a meal. We're joined this morning by our resident doctor, Darren Green, to chat about what to look for when it comes to a cooking oil. I love that we're talking about this.
It's so
because
real,
it's something we neglect all the time.
Correct, and I think we focus so much on healthy ingredients, but we don't often focus on preparation, so we forget about preparation. Is it grilled? Is it fried?
That's right.
Is it fried? What's the best, you know?
100%.
So yeah, if you are going to be preparing food, I think it's important to know a little bit about what's in the different oils. So I think that's where we'll kick off.
Yes, well, doctor, I wanted to tell you, a few weeks ago I went for a health assessment and they told me I have elevated cholesterol for my age.
Okay.
And she asked me, what oils do you use when you cook? So I always thought I cooked healthy, but clearly I'm not using the right oils.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, half of us are walking around with elevated cholesterols and the associated risks for stroke and heart disease without knowing a little bit more about it. So when it comes to cooking with oil, I think everyone used sunflower oil in the past, and everyone's heard of canola. They're not sure about the taste. Then there's olive oil as well. Do you heat it? Do you eat it cold? Do you have it over salads only? What do you do? When you're preparing a steak, what do you do? And I think important to know is that different oils have different smoke points, and that's when an oil actually changes in its structure. It reaches a certain point where it starts evaporating and actually burning. And the different oils have different smoke points. So canola oil, for example, has a very high smoke point. So does sunflower oil, but canola so more so. The biggest issue actually when it comes to health and looking at the different oils is actually what's called the omega-6 and 3s. So everyone knows about omega-3s.
Yes.
Initially everyone was preaching omega-3, 6 and 9, get as much as you can. Then we started looking at the inflammatory effects of having too much of omega-6. And we started looking at what are the benefits of omega-3 and looking at preventing Alzheimer's, and a lot of research and studies was done on that. But omega-3 is essentially quite important in our bodies, from the eyes to the brain cells to the nervous system and the immune system. And it plays a role, and quite important that you're ingesting enough of the different subtypes. You know, you'll hear of terms like ALA, EPA, DHA, and they sound so complex. Hopefully we can simplify that over time for our listeners. But I think for the biggest thing is the omega-6 to 3 ratio is important. And the traditional Western diet, which comprises a lot of fast food and dipped stuff, is a ratio of like 20 to 1 or 15 to 1. And that is proven to be quite detrimental to our health in terms of heart disease and walking around with cholesterols that are quite elevated. Where we're at now with canola, and what's so nice about it is that it's got a omega-6 to 3 ratio of 2 to 1. And people speak of the ideal ratio to cook with in terms of that omega-6 3 ratio. And that one, obviously, there's some studies that have shown it to be beneficial for certain health, chronic lifestyle diseases, in helping things like arthritis, for example, also reducing your risks of cardiac disease. So a lot of work being done in that field, and that ratio certainly needs to be looked at. So the ratio of omega-6 to 3 is the take-home message for our listeners.
Okay, and if you get too much omega-6 into your system, what do you have to be careful
for? Omega-6 in abundant amounts is actually, it causes an inflammatory response. So if you have things like joint pains and body pain and stuff like that, you could trigger more inflammation in the body. There are a lot of foodstuffs that we ingest that increase inflammation. And our approach must actually be that food is medicine, and we can actually decrease inflammation in the body by what we put into this pie hole.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Dr. Darren Green, for being here, taking us through the differences between omega-6 and 3, and of course the benefits or triggers for our body if we use too much of that, and of course how canola oil can be used in a very healthy diet and in preparing good food that's nutritious and healthy all at the same time.
Great stuff.